What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out how Storm Chandra has made its way through the UK. This looks really, really bad. The thumbnail image of the video caught my attention because it was literally a guy walking through floodwaters up to his neck.
What?
And then I see this, obviously, you know, and in the description it actually said there were hundreds of flood warnings and flood alerts, not only throughout England, but also Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So it seems like the entirety of the UK got hit by this massive storm. It said it had not only lots of floodwaters, but also lots of heavy winds.
Oh my goodness.
And so anyways, guys, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be checking out what happened during Storm Chandra, and it honestly looks like quite devastating, to be honest.
It does. One thing I want to point out, though, like if I had just seen this picture, I would assume this wasn't now. Because look at the trees over on the left especially. They still have like leaves and colorful foliage. And
That's
stuff.
true. That's interesting.
Looks like spring and autumn and then winter over here.
Could this be more south where it's maybe a little warmer throughout, you know, and more milder temperatures or something? Because you're right. This looks like a very fall image right here with these trees, but obviously this is now.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, enough rambling. Let's go in here and check out how Storm Chandra has made its way through the UK.
Cars submerged and homes flooded. This is Devon.
Wow.
After being hammered by another storm. In Axminster, this van and its driver had to be rescued.
That'd be so scary.
I'm shaking.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was going to break down, you know, halfway through that. There's about 100 yards of just pure deep water.
Oh my word.
What?
This was the River Otter, which reached its highest level ever recorded.
Ever?
And villages, including Tipton St John, saw schools closed and houses flooded.
Oh, wow.
Didn't y'all just have snow? Like,
yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's flooding like this?
Was this like a hurricane or something? Like, what was this?
I don't know.
Because it did say high winds. I don't know what kind of winds they're talking about when they say high winds, but massive flooding. I've seen a flood happen one or two times, but it never really affected like our town on a large scale or anything like that.
The town I grew up in is notorious for constantly being flooded. It's a floodplain. And so, and it's a valley, so like the water just pools there, but it's still not like this.
No, it's
not
like
usually.
There's not a lot of houses where it floods really bad in your town, but there's like businesses, the resort and stuff like that get flooded out. But they're just used to it, so it's pretty normal for them.
But this was the highest ever recorded level.
Was that in Devon?
I think so.
Wow.
I've not lived here that long, so to see it actually flood like this and to hear the neighbours say that this is the worst it's ever flooded, they've seen it flood before, they've seen the cars get stranded, but to see the school underwater and to see so many cars...
Wow, look at that river, man.
It's such a shame to see the dismay on their faces.
It was like flooded up to where we are stood now, and it was just like all the water was rushing down the roads and all the farms.
Very scary.
Is that a road?
I
mean, it looks like...
Because, like, yeah, I just, like,
wow.
I've never seen the flood this big, and it was, just a bit weird.
This was the nearby village of Ottery St Mary.
Ottery St Mary.
Strong winds also brought this.
That's why the tar barrel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or not racing, but tar barrel.
The carry.
Yeah. Whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Tree down. Thankfully, no one was injured. In neighbouring Somerset, flooding also closed roads. On this street in Taunton, residents were woken at 5 o'clock this morning to water gushing into their homes.
Oh no, that
was completely flooded, all ground floor. Everything is completely damaged. Kitchen, ground floor, all floor, to be honest. I feel terrible because I try cleaning everything. I really try. I can't do anything because water coming from underneath the house.
It seemed like it retreated pretty quickly because if it was in their houses and flooding their houses this morning in the basement or whatever, it was gone back a lot. Yeah, it seemed like it was able to retreat pretty fast.
In Cornwall, the sandbags were down, but it did little to protect this street in Helston.
I'm all right at the minute because my house hasn't flooded yet, but obviously the neighbours is flooding, and mine's probably another 50 mil away, and it's still rising.
So it's rising right then.
No one's come to help.
This is the third major storm to hit the UK so far this year, and many fear it won't be the last. Layla Hayes, ITV News.
Let's get the latest picture now from Jordan Moore in Belfast and Karen Bell in Somerset. Turning to you, Karen, first.
Yeah, Mary, as we've just been hearing, it's been a rotten day for so many residents in the southwest of England, flooding in Cornwall through to Devon, up to where I am in Somerset, and we've still got a danger to life flood warning in place for the Upper Froom River near Dorchester. I am on the Somerset Levels. Now, if you're not familiar with them, it's basically like a miniature Netherlands, extremely flat with large canal-like draining channels running through them. Behind me is a pumping station, one of several, whose job it is to pump the water out of the channels and into the nearby river. And you can see staff from the Environment Agency are working through the hours of darkness now to increase the capacity of this pumping station. This region was devastated by floods in 2014. At this time of year in particular, it is totally reliant on mechanisms like this to stay dry-ish. So for residents here, what's going on now is probably deeply unsettling. It shows just how vulnerable the Somerset Levels are, particularly because more rain is forecast this week.
So the Somerset area, basically, because it's so flat and low lying, they have to have pumps to pump the water, keep the water out. Basically,
it sounds like there's a lot of like little water.
She called it what, the Netherlands?
Or something.
Yeah, wow. So it's kind of like New Orleans in a way. Remember Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans so bad because it's
below sea level.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bowl and right there at the sea, and so they have all these pumps that constantly keep the water out. But then the pumps went out during that hurricane, and that's what caused the devastation. And so it sounds like, obviously probably not the same extent, but nonetheless, it sounds like this is an area that if they didn't have the pumps working, then it could end up really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say it's not been quite as bad in Northern Ireland, but it's still been a very wet and a very windy day. How wet and how windy? Well, in Catesbridge in County Down, it recorded its wettest ever day with almost 10 centimetres of rain falling in a 24-hour period. And as you've heard, there have been gusts on the east coast of Northern Ireland of up to 81 miles an hour. That's caused widespread disruption with the M1, one of the busiest roads in and out of Belfast in Northern Ireland, being closed for a time earlier today. It has since, however, reopened, but that was due to a lot of flooding, which caused a lot of disruption on the roads this morning, and fallen trees and localised flooding has caused delays, with one woman being taken to hospital in Fermanagh after a tree fell in her car. There were a number of ferry services to Scotland from Belfast and Larne that were cancelled today, and Belfast City Airport had no flights flying up until 2 p.m, and 300 schools were closed across Northern Ireland. It's important to say that, like that motorway being reopened, ferry services are due to resume later. There's also been a resumption of those flights at Belfast City Airport, and debris is starting to be cleared as the storm seems to pass. But it's important to note we're not out of the woods just yet. 10,000 people this morning were left without power across Northern Ireland. That was about 4,000 by lunchtime. However, there will still be people tonight who are going home without any power in their homes. There is still a yellow weather warning in place for wind and for rain up until midnight tonight, and there is an ice warning in place from 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, that's a huge deal. This is a bigger deal than I even knew it was when we sat down to do this video. I mean, over in Northern Ireland, they're having hurricane force gusts. I don't know where the highest wind was. Based off of what it seems for flooding, it seems like the worst wind would have been down in the south of England somewhere. I don't know that for sure, but based off of how bad the flooding seemed to be there. But the fact is that they literally, the island of Ireland, you know it to be very wet, right? And they just got here in Northern Ireland, they just got their wettest day in this area ever on
Is that what it said?
In recorded history, yeah.
Oh.
That's incredible, right?
A lot of record-breaking
And
flooding.
Northern Ireland, not a huge place, 300 schools closed. I mean, that's got to be a huge portion of the schools.
Yeah.
Wow.
The sheer power of Storm Chandra was felt along the coast overnight.
Oh.
Wow.
Towering waves slammed ashore, turning the sea into a dangerous and destructive force. By the time the morning commute began, many roads had turned into rivers.
Is that like the motorway? Oh my goodness, it is.
Oh no.
I don't think I'd try it.
I wouldn't either.
In County Fermanagh, a woman was taken to hospital after a tree fell on her car in Lisbon. Her injuries are not believed to be serious. This is a stark reminder of just how treacherous driving became under the amber weather warning. Strong gusts led to thousands of homes and businesses without electricity.
Dude, that sea looks really, really rough.
At the storm's peak, 10,000 power cuts were recorded by NIE at 9 o'clock this morning. This bridge in Rostrevor in County Down collapsed after being overwhelmed by severe conditions.
Oh, I was wondering.
But the storm's impact didn't stop there. Nearly 300 schools and parks across Northern Ireland were closed. Transport was brought to a standstill. Ferries stayed docked. All flights from Belfast City Airport were cancelled, with Belfast's International Airport also warning of significant delays this morning. Storm Chandra has left more than a mess behind. Bin collections were hit today. Belfast City Council has warned of further disruption this week. The focus now shifts to a major clean-up operation over the next few days.
A multi-agency response to Storm Chandra will continue this evening. People are being urged to take extra care, especially travelling on flooded roads.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty high. You can see by the fence.
Emergency services again stand ready to evacuate homes in Monmouth. Storm Chandra has seen roads closed as the River Monnow bursts its banks. It comes just 2 months after Storm Claudia left her mark on the town, devastating homes and businesses in the worst flooding for 40 years. Hart's clothes shop only opened following those floods last Friday. Sian Cursor and her colleagues spent last night lying awake and listening to the rain. They were hoping they weren't going to see a repeat of last November.
After watching the weather forecast last night, we were all worried. Carrie, who's the owner of the shop, she couldn't get in this morning because of the water. So fingers crossed, nothing else is going to happen today.
A few doors down, the shoes and accessory shop lies empty. The carpets still lie in ruins. It won't be open for another 9 months at least. But owner Yvonne Perry says she worries about the local people who are still out of their homes tonight.
There are people in this town that had to be evacuated and are in hotel rooms. And these are elderly people.
And that's still the case today?
Yes, I saw one at the supermarket just recently, and all I could do is hug her. So, oh dear.
It's been challenging for Monmouth, hasn't it?
I feel for others. Not me.
This evening, the river levels are still going up as water continues to speed downstream.
Well, you can see the gate there behind me and the water gushing through from the river.
Is that a road?
Just to give you some idea, less than 2 hours ago, that water was only trickling through. It was nowhere near here.
Wow.
But as you can see now, I cannot get anywhere near that road because of how deep it is.
That is a road.
Oh, my word.
Oh,
yeah, the signage and stuff.
Oh, wow, guys.
Less than 2 hours.
And is this, I guess this is a field. This was a road here, and this is the gate to get into the field or something.
Or a driveway or something.
Or maybe a driveway, yeah, but like, okay, wow.
Continuing to rise.
Monmouth has seen flooding in the past, but some say that it's becoming more frequent.
It used to be sort of like a 1 in 5 year event. Now it's every year, and sometimes it's twice a year. Not down the bottom of town. That seems to have been hopefully a one-off. But
what does CLLR mean on the beginning of his name?
Where?
On the beginning of his name. Like his CLLR.
Collier?
You think that's part of his name?
No, like a title.
That's what I was wondering.
Town council,
yeah, is that a title of some sort? I don't know. I've never seen that before.
Neither.
Not down the bottom of town. That seems to have been hopefully a one-off, but you never know with global warming what the impact's going to be. So as I say, we've really got to get on top of why we're seeing these extreme weather events and what we can do to be more resilient.
Upstream at Llangia, these have been the scenes on the A465 today. It's barely been passable in places. The River Monnow has swallowed up farmland and left a local church an island. Tonight, residents in Monmouth are hoping they've been spared this time, but there are still a few anxious hours ahead. Hannah Thomas, ITV News.
Before 7 o'clock this morning, the police put out a warning saying to people, do not go out on the roads unless it is absolutely urgent that you do so. The roads were completely impassable in so many areas around Exeter, Mid-Devon and East Devon. I want to show you these aerial pictures that we've got of the area around Waycroft Bridge, just the other side of Axminster from where I am now. Several vehicles stuck in the water there, up to their windscreens or even higher. Some of them that have been swept off the road.
No,
just
I'm
been
sure not. We would probably know.
This evening. The fire service told us earlier that they'd had to rescue people from at least 25 vehicles during the day. So it's just been so hard getting around. I've been speaking to some motorists around the area today who've just been finding it really difficult to get from A to B.
Yeah, I bet.
And actually quite scary out on the roads.
Look at me, I'm shaking because I thought I was going to break down, halfway through that. There's about 100 yards.
Oh, he drove through the water.
I tried to come down earlier because I was going to work in town in Axminster. And there was a car stuck maybe just over that little bridge bit. And there was another 4x4 dragging it out. So we turned around then.
What is that? Hold on. What is this?
Is that a road? Doesn't know.
It can't be a road. There's a tree there,
Fields,
but
maybe.
Yeah, okay, I have no idea what this is, what we're looking at, because it just, you look out here, it looks like a lake of some sort, but I know it's not based off of this, and I just can't figure out what this little walkway path thing is.
In the AA, missing the train, but no, we squeaked through. But I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else.
No.
You can sort of feel the weight of the water trying, pushing you really. But obviously I've got a snorkel, so I can sort of go there.
Snorkel?
Because obviously it sort of sucks air from there. Right
I thought you meant the face kind.
Why are they driving it? I don't know. I'd advise anyone.
That's what I was going to say. I'm shocked at how many of y'all are driving through
I wouldn't.
I was always taught in driver's ed never to drive through standing water because
never.
of hydroplaning. And it's really bad for your engine. It's going to kill your car.
And you never know how it might look like, it's only 6 inches or even a foot high, but you get in there and all of a sudden it's up to your windows. I've seen that happen to people and then they're stuck. And then if they don't have someone to rescue them, they can be in trouble. It's not worth it.
Just turn around.
Yeah, just turn around. It's not worth it.
Don't do it. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. When you're in the middle of it and you can't go back, you just keep going forward and you think this is going to stop any minute.
Yeah.
My advice, gentlemen, is don't do it.
Homes have been flooded too. I was speaking to somebody in Axminster who lives right by the river who described the water was coming up through the floor. They actually had to open the doors of the house to let the water out.
Up through the
They knew it
floors?
was coming, of course. They'd seen the warnings about this storm that was coming in, but there's just nothing they could do about it.
How is the water coming through the floors?
Whenever you hear about these storms now, you're always thinking, okay, sofas up on chairs, everything out of cupboards, things like that. We had pumps, we were sweeping things out, and at one point I was like, look, there's just nothing we can do at this point because it's metric tons of water coming in and you're there with just a broom and a pump, and you feel like you're not able to do much against it, really. It's the power.
And it could come in and flood and you'd be swept away or something.
Thankfully, the river levels have started to fall. The floodwater is beginning to recede. But behind me, the fields between the River Axe and the River Yardley here, just outside Axminster, it's a sea out there. There's so much water, so much mess still to clear up, abandoned vehicles still to recover. There's a lot of work still to do.
Motorists who'd ventured round the corner here found themselves stuck.
We're told the river level has actually dropped significantly. The drivers of all these cars had to be rescued by the fire service earlier this morning, and that's really been one of their main jobs throughout today.
No journey was easy today, not just because of the rain, but between here and Ottery St Mary, a giant tree had fallen, narrowly missing a cottage. The Dartmoor rescue team were called to help evacuate a family too in Newton Poppleford, but thankfully no one has been hurt. Flood defences had largely protected nearby Ottery St Mary, but only just, while the River Otter's floodplains were tested to the limit, and residents are wondering if any more measures are needed.
Oh my goodness. Is that the road?
Or the river.
they're standing there or something. They're in the middle of
Well,
it.
it might be a bridge or something.
I guess so, but like that appears, based off where the tree line is, that appears to be a road.
Maybe. Would you have power lines going over the road though?
Yeah, some places. Look at this right here. That appears to be a little marker on the side of a road.
Yeah.
Wow.
ITV News.
Today's named storm, Chandra, brought exactly what the residents of Scythians dread. Heavy rain here means raw sewage pours up out of the drains onto the streets, and this time flooded into homes.
Obviously, you get raw sewage sitting on the top. There's lots of incidents where cars are going past and splashing it on people walking past, children and everything like that. So there's quite a health issue going on, like health and safety as well, obviously. But yeah, I think everyone's just annoyed.
They're going into people's houses potentially.
Really are ignoring everyone.
The area's local MP, Perrin Moon, says this issue's been going on for far too long and a resolution is now needed.
But they're pulling together, they're helping each other, they're putting out sandbags to prevent sewage water coming into homes. They're being very careful about how they drive through the village, so that they're not splashing this disgusting water everywhere. That community is pulling together. That community is doing its bit. Now it's up to South West Water to do their bit to make sure these changes are made.
In a statement, South West Water said, "We have teams on the ground supporting customers. We're using tankers to remove flows where possible. We are urgently working on a long-term solution here." In Helston, residents of St John's Road woke to rising floodwater.
We're just watching everything flood, so I work for a building firm that's got access to tool hire and stuff, so we've had to do something to try and to stop it. We've just got a puddle pump basically going into the river over the back of the house, but it's not really doing much.
Yeah, it's not going to do much, is it?
Yeah, it's better than standing here watching your house flood.
Yeah.
Cornwall Council said their work's limited by the current swollen river levels of the Cobar.
Unfortunately, there is little that can be done until the river levels do subside. We're having that same situation in other locations within Cornwall as well. One or two roads, Bizzo Valley Road, for example, same kind of situation where the river levels are so high that the drainage is unable to function until the river subsides.
Storm Chandra has delivered lashing rain, heavy seas and dangerous gusts of wind across Cornwall. All of it to a county still trying to recover from the last named storm.
That's what I was just thinking.
Grace Pascoe,
wasn't that long ago.
Oh, was it?
And it's going to be a busy night as well. I think that is the Environment Agency hard at work with a crane. They are bringing in extra pipes, extra pumping capacity, because it is the performance of the Northmoor pumping station which will determine whether or not the Somerset levels can avoid a repeat of those devastating floods of 2014. But as you say, for a lot of residents in Somerset, it's already too late. They've had a rotten day. They woke up to floodwater in their houses, as Richard Payne now reports.
Yeah, that'd be a bad way to start your day.
Yeah.
Not yet a day old, but already the people of Somerset are feeling the effects of Storm Chandra.
Is that mud?
Residents
what is
of
that?
Severn Drive in Taunton woke to water flooding their homes and destroying their possessions.
Everything is completely damaged. Kitchen, ground floor, all floor, to be honest. I need to come out, need to be take out everything. You go straight to the bin. I need to dry up, which is taking me probably a week. But the problem is, on Thursday, it's coming more rain. I feel terrible because I try cleaning everything. I really try. I can't do anything because water coming from underneath the house.
Today has been one of salvaging what they could, while questioning whether this was down to Mother Nature or human error. The council are coming in for criticism over claims they failed to clear drains in the nearby village of
I was
Rooster,
wondering.
where a large lake has made the centre impassable to all but the boldest drivers in the biggest vehicles. They've had it worse than this before, but are looking on anxiously as the rising water levels creep ever closer to their front doors. 81-year-old Pam only moved in a year ago, may have to move out when the rains return.
Awful. Really terrible. The rain, well, it's just coming down. Just hope for the best that it don't get any higher.
Elsewhere, journeys were aborted no matter how careful the driver. This, the main A358, close to the M5. It's not only people and property taking a hit, but agriculture too. Farmer Rob Case has had to write off months of work after floodwater consumed his crops overnight.
The worst of it was in 2014 when it was really bad. I would consider it's maybe not quite as bad as that, but it's nearly there. And if we have any more rain tonight, I would have said that it's going to get as bad as that, if not worse.
They're taking as many precautions as possible with floodgates and bags to hold back or at least...
Does that really work, the floodgate thing there?
Must, to some degree.
It looks like it's just sitting there. I wonder how it's stopping floodwater from coming underneath it. Like, what is it? Is it like on the other side of it? It's got like some sort of heavy piece of plastic that's sitting there on the ground that stops water from moving forward. Me either.
Resist the worst of the water, but few in Somerset, you feel, will get a good night's sleep tonight, while they wait anxiously for what the next few hours and days.
Yeah, that would be
bring.
stressful.
Yeah, would be very
Richard
much
Payne,
so.
ITV News, Taunton.
Oh, I'm sure we all feel for everyone who's affected. Karen, what's the council said about these floods?
Well, I spoke to the leader of Somerset Council a little earlier, Alex, and his message was basically call the council. If you've got floodwater in your house, call Somerset Council. They might be able to help you get that water out. They might be able to help you with your insurance claim and also with finding alternative accommodation. You heard in Richard's report there some criticism about drain clearing or lack thereof. Well, I put that to the leader of the council and just have a listen to his response.
We don't do the proactive drain clearance that we would like to do, but we do reactive drain clearance. So if things are reported, please report stuff on our website. We will get the teams out to inspect and make sure it's done. But the position of local councils all across the country is they're not able to do the proactive clearance that we would love to do.
Why? Because of money?
It is the ongoing tight financial situation in councils all over the country that makes that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you're in worse shape when it floods.
I know, right?
Start warning there, isn't it? They just can't afford to clear the drains properly. So
interesting.
Very frustrating words for Somerset residents who've got flood water in their houses. And of course, the worry continues because more rain is forecast the rest of this week.
Wow. Guys, I had no idea it was this bad.
I feel for you guys.
Yeah, it feels like it seems like it's in different parts of the country. It seems like south of England got hit really, really bad by this. It seems like other areas got hit bad as well, but it seems like the brunt of it, based off of the flooding at least, seems to be mostly in the south of England. Let us know if that is wrong, but based off of what they reported here.
Yeah, the stress of worrying if it's going to rain more and then, you know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, guys, if you're somewhere where you got hit really bad. How's it going? Did it end up getting worse after, later on?
The reports,
Yeah, because this looks really bad. I'm kind of surprised that more people weren't actually talking about this, because it seems like a hurricane or something. Because I don't know if it was a hurricane, but I know Northern Ireland said they got hit with hurricane force gusts. Now, I mean, that tells me that probably in other areas it was probably even worse. So there may have been sustained hurricane force winds.
Cornwall area, southwest.
That's what it seems like based off of where it seems like the worst flooding is. But guys, I think that's it for us today. Let us know in the comments how you're doing if you were affected by this, and
check in. Let us know you're okay.
Yeah, but I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.